The X-Files is back on our screens, so once again I am taking a look at the latest episode. Please be aware, people, that this is an in-depth review, so there are spoilers throughout. X-Files, it's back. Episode 4 has been on, and let's take a little look and a little talk about it, see what's been going on. This episode was called Home Again, and we see the story of a strange monster, once again, killing people. The first scene of this episode, it sees some homeless people, and they're getting just sprayed with water. They're just getting caked with water, and doesn't really explain why they're using this method in order to move these homeless people on, which is what they're doing. They're trying to clear this part of the town and for redevelopment and move these people on, but they want to move them to some sort of school or somewhere, or a hospital. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The city official who is in charge of this particular act for moving these people on using the hoses, he goes to his office. He gets bloody murdered, doesn't he? Well, he gets ripped in half, physically ripped in half. And of course, Mulder and Scully are called to investigate because there doesn't seem to be any clues whatsoever. Within the first few moments, Scully is called away. She gets a phone call from her brother. Her mum has had a heart attack. Her mother, played by the same person as before, Sheila Larkin. We haven't seen her since episode 7 or something, quite a long time ago. And really, this was quite an emotional episode. We have Scully's mum, who's very, very ill. She's having heart issues. And we talk about Scully's lost brother, who I don't know if has ever been mentioned before. Probably has. You'll have to excuse myself. Of course, her brother's been seen before. It was way back in season 1, an episode called One Breath, where we see a young Dana, a young William, and her brother Charles shooting a corn snake with a BB gun. And of course, young William, Mulder and Scully's son, is talked about in depth in this episode. Well, in depth, it's mentioned. What I want to know is, why don't they just go and find him? Okay? If he's that important to this government conspiracy, or whatever the old conspiracy was, the aliens, etc., the Smoky Man and his cronies, the government, are going to know where William is and who William is because of what William is. Doesn't make sense. Just go and find him. The government would easily find him. And if they haven't, he's probably not important. But maybe they have. Anyway, with Scully at the hospital, Mulder is left alone once again to investigate this murder. I'm starting to think that Duchovny and Anderson do not get on, because they're hardly on screen together. I mean, seriously, they're not. But thinking about that, classic X-Files often saw the pair split up for most of the episodes. So, what am I talking about? It's fine. Mulder, at the crime scene, he sees some graffiti written on a wall across from the office.
I'm going to go see if it's signed or if anybody knows who made it.
And somehow, he knows that this graffiti has something to do with this murder. It's not just random graffiti on a wall. It's to do with this murder. And then it's instantly stolen. From when Mulder turns away, he looks back, it's gone. This thing's like 7 foot tall on a billboard up the top of a building. How's that thing going to get stolen? Is it the work of the creature, or is it magic? It's neither of these things. It's 2 normal men, and they were able to remove this piece of artwork, the entire section of the wall and take it down a fire escape, one assumes, in the time it takes for Mulder to turn his head. Anyway, these two men are killed instantly. They're killed by this man who appears from the back of a dump truck. Now, Trash Man is mentioned. Now, I thought that was the name of the monster. That is an awesome name for a monster. Okay? But that's not what this creature's called. This creature's called
Band-Aid Nose Man?
So, Band-Aid Nose Man, he is a creature, as I said, arrives in the back of a dump truck and kills whoever he wants, it seems. And then he goes back with various parts of their body into his dump truck. He leaves behind evidence that when it's put under scientific scrutiny and tests, it doesn't physically exist. At least, that's what I think they said.
It's not alive. It's not dead.
How can they physically test this if it doesn't exist? He's physically got it in his hands. He puts it under the machine. It says there's nothing there. So, Mulder tracks down the artist who drew this picture of Band-Aid Nose Man. His name is Trash Man. He is a homeless artist living in his home, it seems. Anyway, he drew the artwork, painted the artwork of Band-Aid Nose Man. He drew it as a protective symbol to protect the homeless from this movement project. And somehow this drawing, this artwork, has come to life and is killing people. Random people, it would seem. The guy at the beginning who's spraying them with water, giving them abuse, I understand why they would want him dead, because he's physically hurting them, okay? But the woman who got a court order to prevent them moving to the school or whatever shelter it was, actually, yeah, she doesn't want them to move to her place, so they don't have a home, so that's fine. But why did they kill the guy towards the end who actually physically helped them? He moved them into this new place, gave them a roof. He doesn't really care very much, but was that any need to kill him? Also, the two artists, all they've done was took the art, because they moved the art, probably. So there's lots of questions. Anyway, I felt that this episode wanted to be about Scully's mum and her illness, about her untimely death, I'm afraid, and the fact that Mulder and Scully had to give up William earlier on in the series. It's an emotional journey. It pulls up Scully's past from the last 9 seasons, the abduction, obviously, the loss of William, etc., etc. I think if they just had this, which is what I feel they wanted, it would have been too boring. So what they've done is they've thrown in a killing monster thing. And I felt that this has left a lot of questions. In the end, this episode finishes with a scene on a beach. Mulder and Scully are there talking about their son William and whether or not it was the right decision to get rid of him. I think that this series, there's 2 episodes left, is going to end with us seeing William as an adult, or however old he is now. That's what I think anyway. So summing up, this week was better, I think, than some previous episodes. It was an emotional ride, and it had some scary bits in it, a little bit of thrilling. I like the monster, but it did leave me with quite a few questions, like who's driving the dump truck? Why doesn't the band-aid or plaster that Mulder found on his shoe actually exist? Who controls the monster? Is it a thought form monster, i.e. is the homeless people using their collective mind to think him up? And who's driving the dump truck? He pulls up, he gets out, kills someone, gets back in, drives away. Is the truck also imaginary? I'm sure that these questions and more will never be answered. So, I hope you enjoyed the episode as much as I did, which is about 70%. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to click that like button. Please join me on subscribing to this channel for more videos like this one and others. I'm on Twitter at Strider Games, and you can also find me on Facebook /Strider Games. See you next time.